Alright, so a little bit of good news, bad news with the Bills this past week. Let's lead with the bad. Obviously, they lose to the Ravens 24-17, fall to 9-4 on the year. I'm by no means going to sit here and give you some sort of moral victory speech. I don't think one exists. I'm not going to be like, well, yeah, great job, Bills, by losing by 7 at home to the class of the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. I will, however, say that the Ravens do look like one of the better teams in the league, if not the best team in the league. They've won 9 in a row now. They look like they're on track to get home field advantage in the AFC. They've beat some really good teams along the way. And they look like a Super Bowl favorite. They really look the part of a Super Bowl favorite. Right up there with San Francisco and New Orleans and New England and Kansas City. And I just made myself mad by mentioning New England in that breath because they're on the verge of tying the Bills for 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. And thus far they've won 2 of the last 3. So it would really, discredit the Bills appearing in 4 straight, I think. And I just don't want that to happen. Obviously I'm jealous. I don't want that to happen. But I will, with New England, I don't mean to go off on some tangent. I'm going to go off on a mini tangent here. I should save New England because the Bills play New England next week, and the division is still within a little bit of reach here for the Bills. Depending on how these last 3 games play out, the Bills obviously have a bit of a tougher look at it, playing at Pittsburgh, and the Jets and the Patriots get the Bengals and the Dolphins, other than their matchup in Week 16 with the Bills. But something happens every year. They lose a game or two, and they pretend like people are doubting them. Like, oh, we're the victims here. Everyone's doubting us. We're the underdog, the New England Patriots. Stop. Stop with that. Because every year this happens. You win 10-11 games, you make yourself the underdog. 10-11, you win 12-13. Every year. Every year you win a division. Every year you have home field in the playoffs, it seems. Every year you're in the AFC Championship. Most years you're in the Super Bowl. You're not the underdog. Let it go. And now that I brought up their matchup with the Bengals this week, the only thing I'll say about the videotaping thing is the New England Patriots have completely lost the right to say, it's not what it looks like. Baloney. Baloney. It's exactly what it looks like. Sorry, based on your history, the Spygates, the Deflategates, everything, whatever. It's exactly what it looks like. You've lost the right to say that, to use that as an excuse. Oh, we stay within the context of the rules here. We would never deliberately do that. That's what you said before. So, spare me. I don't know what's going to come of it. I have no idea how the league will handle it, what they will discover in their investigation. I just know that they're probably guilty. That's really all I can say. Do your job, LFG. Spare me. I loathe you guys. Anyway, the Bills lose to the Ravens, 24-17. A game they really came out super flat. Another thing I loathe. Starting fast. Like, what do you guys really need to do this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Well, we really need to start fast. I want to come out of the gate quick. Okay. Nobody's going to be like, what do you need to do this week against the Steelers? Well, we should probably start really slow and, try to figure out what's going on. Just feel them out a little bit. We don't want to score too many points too early. Obviously you want to start fast. You always want to start fast. And the Bills haven't done it really all year. They only have, I think, 40 points in the first quarter all year, which, divided by 13 games is about 3 points per first quarter. And that's not good. That's not acceptable, really. Like, 3 points in the first quarter? Come on. They've been good enough on defense to keep them in games all year long. And the defense was good again on Sunday. I'll talk about that shortly. I just want to finish this thought here. Starting too slow. Here's the Bills' first couple of possessions. 3-0. 3-0. They get a first down on the first play of their third drive. Then they go 3-0. 3-0 with a fumble. That ends up putting them down 10-0 because it gives the Ravens the ball on the 24-yard line. And that play Jackson to, the tight end there, Boyle or whoever, like the rollout and the flip, like how do you stop that? I have no idea how to tell you how to stop that. It's like almost unfair. And I thought the Bills did a really good job on defense most of the day. Like, Jackson only had 11 carries for 40 yards, and one of those carries was for 16. He had a couple kneel downs, so, other than the long one, you take away his long one of 16, he's under 30 yards rushing, or right around that mark. Obviously under it, if you include the kneel downs. They did a great job, and I thought Shaq Lawson did the best job. I don't think that's even arguable. Jerry Hughes did a great job. The interior D-line did a pretty good job. Ingram didn't really get off on them too much. But Shaq did such a good job. I can think of one play in particular where he reads him, and there is a huge lane outside. Huge lane outside. If Shaq bites inside, Jackson's gaining 20 plus. Easy. Probably more with his elusiveness and how quick he is. But Shaq forces him outside, makes him make the first move there, and it ends up being like a loss of 3. It was a great job by Shaq. He's really playing his way into another contract, hopefully with the Bills. Defensively, they really only had one mishap, that being the long touchdown to Hurst. That really put him behind the 8 ball there because it put him down 17-6 at the time. So they were really just playing catch up the whole time, and the offense was really struggling to keep up, because after it went to 17-6 early in the second half, the Bills answered with a field goal to make it 17-9. Here's their next couple of possessions: 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. None of those drives lasting longer than 1 minute and 57 seconds, gaining a total of 12 yards. And not that the Ravens were doing much on offense either. They went, 6 plays and punt, 5 plays and punt, 3 and out. But eventually, they start right around midfield and they end up scoring a touchdown. And now you're on 24-9. So despite the fact that the score was close and a 7-point game, and the Bills had the ball at the end to tie it, inside the 20, it just didn't really feel that close for a lot of it. Like, it was just this constant scratching and clawing. But I didn't really leave that game too pessimistic. It was just frustrating to watch the offense struggle all along. They left so many yards on the field early on. Like, Allen missed a couple throws. One I can think of to Brown, maybe 2 to Brown, 1 to Foster on the sideline. The one to Foster, I guess, is a little bit better because he has to get it over the corner who's kind of cutting underneath him. But, it was there. And I think that maybe that's what led to, they ended up sacking Allen 6 times. I think that's what maybe led to that, is the Ravens were like, holy moly. It looked like they did a lot of blitzing up the middle. They definitely rushed the edges too, obviously. But they were coming after Josh all day. And they were like, he's not going to... And right on the first 2 drives, they're like, oh my God, he's not going to hit these deep throws. Let's just keep coming after him until we see him hit one of these deep throws. Then maybe we'll back off. Maybe. But he's not hitting these long throws over our heads to guys that are beat. So if we just keep blitzing him, this might be our recipe for victory. That might not even been their game plan going in. They might have just been sort of feeling them out for the first couple drives, and it just came to them. The one thing that people want to talk about from that game a lot is the DPI that wasn't called on Foster. Would have gave the Bills a nice chunk of yardage there, and obviously that's what I care about the most, is the yardage. I don't blame McDermott for not wanting to spoil a timeout there. These things just really aren't getting overturned. That's really all I can say. It wasn't by letter of the law DPI. Yes, I completely agree. The guy made contact with Foster and then hit him in the head on his way to the ball. That's DPI. It didn't get thrown. If you challenge for it, you probably don't get it. The word egregious comes up in the rule and whatnot, and I hope that challenge goes away, and fast. Because if you're not going to call it by the letter of the law, then why is there a challenge for it? Why is there this whole thing about getting it right? So I don't blame McDermott for doing that. I guess I was a little frustrated, I suppose, with the timeout at the last drive, which, by the way, they were really only in there. They only got credited with gaining 10 yards on the last drive. They got 60 yards by penalties, 2 personal fouls, and then a DPI on 4th down. So on the 4th down, they gave them the first. But they used a timeout there at the end, and that was their only weapon against Baltimore running the clock out if they didn't get a first down. So I was disappointed in that, but obviously you want to get the right look, the right play. But to use a timeout, which is your last line of defense, I didn't really like. Anyway, I harped a lot on the bad news there. The good news is that they're still 9-4. They're still in the 5th seed. They are winning in. Guys, they're winning in. They win any one of their last 3 games at Pittsburgh, at New England, home against the Jets, and they're in the playoffs. Their 10th win. It would be their first time winning 10 games since 1999. They're in. That might be so fitting. All they have to do is win, and they are in. Win a 10th game, and they are in. I would love to do that before Week 17. Please do not give me a Week 17 scenario where the Bills still need to clinch. I don't want that. It would be so nice going to a game maybe where the Bills already clinched the 5 seed, and I think they might clinch the 5 seed by beating Pittsburgh or getting very, very close to it. You know, just don't. If they clinch the 5 seed, what was I going to say? Oh, if they clinch the 5 seed, the Week 17 game might be meaningless. They might be able to rest their starters. Imagine talking about that. The Bills resting their starters for a game leading into the playoffs. It'd be awesome. Anyway, the Steelers are no slouch. Obviously, they have struggled mightily on offense, save for the games against Miami and 2 against Cincinnati. Sorry, Miami, Cincinnati, and then 1 game against Cleveland. Right, that is correct. They have not gone over 300 yards. They've done it 4 times in 13 games. It was against Miami, Cincy, and Cleveland once. They have turned the ball over at least 1 time on offense in every game. They have multiple turnovers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half of their games. The thing is, they have forced multiple turnovers on defense in 11 out of 13 games. That is insane. They're so good defensively. TJ Watt is a total stud, and he has completely opened things up on the other side for Bud Dupree, who wasn't really a bust by any means, but his career high in 3 years was only like 3 or 4 years, was like 6 sacks. He's already at 9.5. Watt has like 12.5 on his own. He has like over 30 in 3 seasons. He's been great for them. It's made the back end better. They traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. People thought that was a dumb idea at the time, myself included. Trading a first at really like 1 and 4 for Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's been very good for them. A bit of a patroller back there. He's got a bunch of interceptions. He has scored a touchdown. Like I said, he's like that center field type of player. He's feeling you out while the pass rush is getting to you. They are a force to be reckoned with on defense. However, I don't fear them offensively. They play a lot of, I don't fear Duck Hodges. He's going to lose eventually. To think that Duck Hodges is going to go undefeated is hilarious. Like he's going to lose a game eventually. And the Steelers are sort of playing with fire so much. Look at like 1-score games. Arizona, 1-score game. Cleveland before that, 1-score game. Cincy, 1-score game. Cleveland before that, they lost. The Rams, 1-score game. The Colts, 1-score game. The Dolphins, 13-point win. The Chargers, 1-score game. The Ravens, 1-score game. The Bengals, they win by 24. The Niners, 1-score game. The Seahawks, 1-score game. The Patriots, they get beat by 30. Their circumstances are obviously a little different from them. But like they play in a heck of a lot of 1-score games, and they have won a lot of them. So there's certainly some luck involved there. Again, here I go on the luck thing, whatever. I don't want him to turn into Luck Hodges on Sunday by any means. I do think he's bound to lose a game eventually. I think the Bills are a really good defense for him to, maybe ideally struggle against, because the Bills tend to give up a little bit on the ground in the name of stopping you in the passing game. And, Juju might be back. He's been downgraded a little bit throughout the week. It's still possible he plays. James Conner might be back. I'm really not sure how much of a difference this is going to make for them, because they've been doing pretty well rushing the football anyway. They had 140 against Arizona, 124 against Cleveland, 159 against Cincinnati the week before that. I don't know how much it's going to benefit them. I don't fear them in the passing game. I know they have nice players like James Washington, Deontay Johnson is whatever, and Juju might be back for them. Vance McDonald might not play with a concussion. Like they don't stretch the field on you like that. I know that they've thrown some deep touchdowns, but like it's more like screens and go. And like comebacks and short routes like that to keep it simple for Hodges, who, to his credit, doesn't usually kill them, but they do still turn the ball over. It's just the Steelers win with defense, and I think it's more likely that the Bills are able to move the ball against the Steelers than the Steelers are against the Bills. So I'm leaning towards the Bills here. I know the Steelers are a 2-point favorite right now. That's a little bit under the 3 that the home team usually gets. So I'm going to pick the Bills. I think the Bills are going to clinch on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go 19-16. It's probably going to be a 1-score game. I imagine it being close. Both teams play close games all year long. If you're going to the game, that's cool. The Bills haven't been on Sunday Night Football in 12 years, so I'm going to be content watching them on the broadcast, watching Al Michaels call their game for the first time in 12 years. And the last time they were on it, they lost by 46 to New England. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming this far in the video. maybe we'll be talking next week about a clinched playoff spot. Enjoy your weekend. If you're going to the game, enjoy it, or enjoy on Sunday Night Football. As always, above all else, go Bills.